Hello everyone. Here again we are back with your English 2 class, and as you know we have completed all the chapters. We have taken the revision test, but once again today also we shall again be having another revision test. So what we will do basically in today's class, I will be explaining, I will be telling you the summary, very simplified summary of all the chapters. So that you can remember it better. But once again, as I have said, it is advisable for everyone that you go back to your videos which were uploaded for the first time when your class started. So those videos on each and every chapter, the House and the Family, then your Circus Elephant and my books, so all the chapters, you watch those videos and you go through the chapters as many times as you can. Okay. So now the first one chapter which you had is the Owls in the Family. Now this one is the chapter where the narrator is saying about two owlets. These owlets are kind of a sudden guest in their family. So they came, they actually they were there in the nest where the rainwater pipe had emerged, and from here they came and they had fallen near the veranda steps, and there they were picked up by grandfather, and this way they were kept in the family. So first few days the mother owlet tried to keep them with her, but finally it realized that it should be better that they should be kept in the narrator's family. So it came and it left them in the narrator's family and went. Afterwards, we can see that in the narrator's family they become quite like the family members, and they become very much fond of grandmother, and Aunt Mabel was there, who was not very much friendly to them, who was not happy with them, and whenever those owlets came near her in a very friendly manner, she used to scream and she used to squeal, and finally we see that the owlets become so fond of grandmother that they used to sleep with grandmother, they used to snore with grandmother. So all these things are there in the chapter, the Owls in the Family. Okay. Now here what you will have to remember, you will have to remember the name of the narrator, the name of the writer, which is Ruskin Bond. And Ruskin Bond, you have read many stories of him. So another thing which you will have to remember is the word meanings which are given in your book, also the word meanings which I have explained in my class. So all those word meanings you will have to read. Actually, when you understand the text, then separately you don't have to remember the word meanings, because it is not that you will actually be given the word meanings which are there in your book. It can be asked from anywhere in the text, which are there in the text part, which are there. From there, inside the text also, I can ask you any word meaning which may be which are not listed here. So what you will have to do when you are reading the text, you should know each and every meaning, word meanings, each and every word meanings you should know. So these are the things which you have in your Owls in the Family. Now coming to the next chapter, which is My Books. Now here My Books is a chapter where we can see that the speaker is very much fond of reading, very much fond of books. And here another thing, again and again I am telling you, don't get confused. Dr. Seuss is not the writer or not the poet of this poem. Only few lines from his writing has been quoted here in the introductory part. But remember, this has not been written by Dr. Seuss. And who has written, that is also controversial. You don't name anyone, because the same name can be another until and unless you find that this text, the text which are given, these are written by someone that you don't mention. You will say, as the textbook has not provided you the name of the writer of the poem or the name of the poet of the poem, we will say it has been written by an anonymous poet or an unknown poet, whose name we don't know, whose name is not mentioned in the text, in the book. So what is there in this poem? First thing that here we for the first time class 5, in class 5 we will be knowing what are the figure of speeches. The figure of speeches, I have said, these are also called rhetorics. Figure of speeches or rhetorics are kind of ornaments to a particular language. As you can say, these are used to beautify the expression, to enhance the quality of the expression. So what here happens here, simile and metaphor, these two figure of speeches are there. Simile, as I have said, is a direct comparison, where the comparison will be made directly and the point of comparison will be mentioned in most of the time. And you will be finding metaphor, where you will have to assume the point of comparison, you will have to understand, you will have to guess the point of comparison, where it will not be mentioned directly, whether it will be a hidden comparison or an indirect comparison, metaphor. Okay, so here in this poem, while you are reading, you should know that knights means the medieval warrior, you can say, or the warriors who used to ride on the horses and who used to fight. They were the brave and courageous soldiers. And gnomes, remember, G will not be pronounced, we will be saying gnomes. G is silent here, as you don't say when you pronounce that our, H-O-U-R, or honest, H-O-N-E-S-T. So that time H is silent, so the same way G is silent here, we will be pronouncing it as gnomes. Okay, so knights and gnomes. Gnomes are who? They are the underground, or you can say they are the guards, or you can say the custodian of the underground treasure. Underground, it is believed that underground there is much treasure. So we have read in all these things in fairy tales, we read all these things. So there we find that the tiny men, they are very much tiny, they are short heighted. So they are the persons who actually guard, or it is believed that they are the persons who guard the earth's treasure, which is there in the underground. Okay, so these two meanings you should know. Now what happens? Simile, where or metaphor, where does it happen here? They are the homes of queens and fairies. I have said this is metaphor. They are the homes of queens and fairies. Why? Because indirect comparison. Why? Because we can see here that, as we know, homes or our home is a place where we all live in, isn't it? We all live in our houses, we all live in our home. So when these characters are there, the queens, the fairies, the knights, the gnomes, where do they live? They live on the pages of a book. So this page of the book is like a home for them. Okay, as we live at our home, similarly these characters, the queens, the fairies, the knights, the gnomes, they live on the pages of a book. Why or how do they live? Actually they don't live, but when we come to know about them from the pages of a book and there is written about them, so it is believed that somebody who is reading it for the first time, who is knowing about a queen, about a fairy, is being a very small child when you come to know about the knights and the gnomes. So the first time you come to know from where? From the book. So it seems as if these are there on the book, as if the book is a living place for them. Okay, so that is why this is a metaphor. When we say there is an indirect comparison, why? Because it has not been mentioned why this is being called as the home of all these characters. Now where is the simile? Here each book is like a city street. I have said that simile, you can recognize the simile in another way also, that there will be as and like. These words will be there, as and like. So here we can find the word like, where it has been written each book is like a city street. So each book is like a city street means what? and the city street is winding, or you can say is kind of going in a very zigzag way. Similarly, if you follow a particular street, you will be, or if you follow a particular direction, you will be meeting many new people, many strangers you will be meeting when you will be taking one particular way, when you will be taking one particular street to move forward. So that time you will be meeting with different kind of strangers, will be meeting with new persons. So similarly, when you read a book, when you go through the stories or whatever descriptions are there in a book, so you come to know about new things, you come to know about new personalities, new characters. So when you come to know about all these things from a book, it seems like as if the book is kind of a winding street, or the street which has got diverged in many ways and it has gone in a very zigzag way. Okay, so this is a simile because there is a direct comparison. So direct comparison is simile and indirect comparison is metaphor. Metaphor has been used in this poem when we are saying that they are the homes of queens and fairies. That means books are the homes of queens and fairies. This is metaphor. When we are saying each book is like a city street, this is simile. Okay, so these are there in your this particular poem, My Books. Okay, and next is your the Circus Elephant. Circus Elephant is a poem where we find that the poet, or the name of the poet is Catherine Worth, and Catherine Worth is actually here is having the questions in her mind. She is not asking the questions to anyone. She is having all these questions in her mind. All these questions are roaming there or moving there in her mind, and she is trying to find out the answer of her own. So what she is asking that whether the elephant is missing his old past sweet days when it used to be in the jungle, when it was in the company of the other animals, when it used to wake up in the morning, in the very early morning, that is just before the sunrise, in the time of dawn, when it used to wake up, whether it has remembered that all those things which used to happen at that moment, the very morning freshness, the old noises. Why old noises? Because those noises the elephant used to hear when it was in the jungle long ago. So old here tells about a remote past, about a distant past. Okay, in the mornings long gone also tells us about this distant past when the elephant used to be in the jungle. Now it is there in the circus company. Now here again the poetess is having the question that whether the elephant is now the elephant also remember the cry of the hungry beast. Cry here doesn't mean weeping and that tear coming off your eyes. Here crying means shouting, or the sound that these animals used to produce. So whether the tiger has, whether the elephant has remembered all those sounds when the tiger and the leopard and the lion, they were taking their meal, the grand meal feast. Do this mighty eardrums, his mighty eardrums. So mighty means strong, and eardrums, I have said that this part of the ear through which the sound enters to your mind. Now here why eardrums are mighty, that the poetess is not taking it in a literal sense. She is trying to say that the enormous, that the large ears that the elephant is having, whether those have listened to the sounds of the zebra and the buffalo roaming here and there in the jungle. In the dark dreadful heat, this is alliteration. Alliteration is what? When this is another figure of speech. I have said simile, metaphor you have learned in your previous chapter. Here you are learning alliteration. Alliteration is what? When the similar sound pattern in a particular sentence, the words follow a similar sound pattern and it starts with the beginning not sound pattern, though we can say that the similar sounding words will be there, that the beginning sound will be similar. Beginning sound will be similar. Similar sound pattern is a different thing. That is onomatopoeia and all those things that we will be learning afterwards. So what happens here? You will be finding here that alliteration is actually when the words start with the same sound and are used together, used close together, and we will be seeing that in a particular sentence there will be the similar or you can say that there will be the same beginning letter in many words which are there in a very close proximity. You will be finding that those words are having the same beginning letter. We will be calling it alliteration. Dark and dreadful night, and here you have done it in page number 56. Warm but windy day, valley, walked down the winding street, hungry Henry hurried home and ate a huge slice of honeydew melon. So all these you can find that these are starting with the same beginning letter. So this way this chapter is there, and here another forgotten stream and forgotten music. So when the elephant, the poet is having the same question again, that whether when the elephant is sleeping and it is having a very sound sleep, and during that dream, when it is having a dream, so whether in that time the elephant remembers of the forgotten music or the forgotten stream. So forgotten music means what? Forgotten music is the sound of the stream where the water is flowing, or maybe a very small river is flowing beside the jungle. So the sound that the water used to produce, so that is so soothing sound, that is so enchanting, so nice sound that the poet is saying that it is like a very soothing, very peaceful music. So when the elephant is sleeping, whether does it remember about the forgotten music of a forgotten stream. So the stream is forgotten and the music is forgotten. Why? Because it tells us again of the past incident that the elephant used to do it many days ago or many years ago, when it used to be in the jungle. Now it has been there with the circus company, and it has become a long days since it has come to the circus company. Okay, so this is there in these 3 chapters. So you go through the chapters as many times as you can. You understand each and every meaning, each and every expression, and particularly in the poem you should understand each and every aspect of the poem. So you have to and also these alliterations, simile, metaphor, all these things also you should know very minutely. Okay, so as you have seen, the question pattern will be similar as you are taking your revision test. Today also you will be having another revision test. So after watching this video, you go and take your revision test, but there will not be any study material because we have almost completed everything. We have we have already completed everything. So no study material, only your revision test, and you have to read your chapters as many times as you can. Okay, so that's all for today. Have a very nice day. Thank you.